The curator over here at UFOFest, and with Bill, and I'm with...
Hey, I'm Robin Van Hess. I'm the co-founder of Withville UFOFest.
So cool, so cool. Awesome. Wow, you're the one to talk to. So what was like the inspiration for this event?
So my husband and I run Mystic Novelty, which is like a UFO cryptid-based business, and we always wanted to put on our own festival. We're from Bristol, Tennessee, which is about an hour from here, but we wanted to have a festival that had its own story. And that's what Withville has. Withville's got great history that a lot of the locals don't even know about.
Right.
So this is marks the 36th anniversary for the Withville UFO sightings, and we wanted to bring a little weird history to Withville.
If you were to set out to find UFOs, you probably wouldn't come here. But apparently the UFOs did. It was October 7th, 1987. 4 sheriff's deputies and a local police chief looked up and saw a bright red and green light hovering silently in the night sky. Then suddenly it darted to a new location and hovered again. Not far away on that October night, high school students had gathered for a pep rally around a bonfire.
That's so cool. So how did you become interested in UFOs and the study of extraterrestrial phenomena?
I'll credit it to my dad growing up on Star Trek my whole life, and
Star
then
Trek,
X-Files,
yes,
and anything like that. And then I met my husband, and he was into local history, and then I helped him do our Saucers Over Appalachia book, and it just sort of grew from there.
So cool. And then those things kind of converged. I love that. I love relationships like that where two people bring something cool to the table. On the note of X-Files, I almost went into the costume contest, and my brother here asked me who I was going to be. I was going to go for Fox Mulder because I figured that'd be easy.
I thought for sure you were going to say Dana Scully.
Could you imagine that? That'd be fun. That'd be an interesting take. So have you seen any Men in Black around today?
There's been a couple Ghostbusters, no Men in Black so far.
The Ghostbusters is funky. I like it.
Although they did come in Men in Black costumes last year.
So they're changing it up. I see. Just speaking from your own experience, what is the most compelling evidence or case that you've come across in your own research or investigations?
I'm going to go with the Pascagoula abduction in Pascagoula, Mississippi, 1973.
In 1973, in one of the first and most famous cases of alien abduction, 2 men claim a UFO appeared in the sky above the Pascagoula River in Mississippi. Later that night, Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker Jr. were picked up by the sheriff's department. Their interrogation was secretly recorded.
Right now, I'm not on the shore. Peter ship, I'm sitting in a fishing. We caught a few hard ends down there and stuff with croaker.
They were having an easy time catching catfish. They didn't realize they'd be the next ones snared.
It's one of my favorites. The 1973 wave's really interesting, but these aliens, we might have a picture.
Oh, okay.
So it's the little gray one that has carrot protrusions coming off of them, and they were wrinkly, and they abducted 2 fishermen down in Pascagoula. They did lie detector tests, and they both passed. It's an interesting one.
I like that one. What role do you believe pop culture, like movies and TV shows, plays in the public perceptions of this phenomenon?
I think probably 90% of the people that are here because of pop culture, so I credit a lot to it.
Yeah. Communication.
That was my thing. That's what got me into it. I've never had my own UFO experience, but pop culture is what did it for me with UFOs, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, because when you look into X-Files, then you look into like what skipping on the showrunner's name, Carter, what he put into it was just all the like real life kind of theories and stuff, and I love that kind of stuff. So in your opinion, what are the potential implications or consequences of discovering intelligent extraterrestrial life?
That's a big question.
Yeah.
It could go a lot of ways. It could go really sinister. I like to think it's a little more benevolent.
Me too.
No point in worrying over sky creatures for now. So.
So if you believe it does exist, why haven't we seen clear evidence day to day? What do you think they're waiting for?
Well, I think if an alien species has the technology to get to Earth, they probably have the technology to not be seen. They probably have the technology to not crash their ships for the most part. Accidents happen, but that would be my guess.
It's a good
maybe
point.
we're just a lower level being and we just can't see them, and they're here all the time.
Interdimensional.
Yeah.
I like that one. If aliens were to land here today, which fast food chain do you think they would be most interested in trying?
I'm gonna go.
I knew he was gonna like that one.
I'm gonna go with Pals.
What's
local
that
food
one?
chain. So it's local. It's like the buildings are shaped like burger fries, and it's better. It's
That's
nice
cool.
looking. I think aliens appreciate like a good look.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. It's our local.
All right. Well, we'll leave you on this one. If you had the power to communicate with these UFOs, what message would you send to them and why?
Oh.
I know they're
How do you come up with something not cliche?
all right. Well, it could be cliche. Things are cliche for a reason.
That's fair. I'll just say welcome. Come on down with UFOFest next year, June 8th, 2024.
There you go. All right. Well, anything else you want to plug?
I think that's it.
That was
Thank you guys
good.
for being here.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you. Thank you for the interview. I love this table. This is quite a collection. What all is going on here?
Well, we first and foremost, we're researchers and investigators. So my name's Joe Perdue. That's Ron Lanham over there. We're the co-owners of Wild and Weird West Virginia. We're also the founders of the West Virginia High Strangers Collective. Everything you see here on the table is handmade by us. We make things as close to the actual encounters as possible. And then we also recreate some paleo art. We do what we can to actually fund what we're doing. So that way we can afford things like thermal equipment, and we can afford things like all these various high-tech equipment and gear that costs thousands of dollars.
Wow, that is very smart. And very, because we've been talking about how like the communication of these things is what keeps the movement going and whatnot. Oh, I love it because I saw like it was kind of an eclectic mix, and that makes sense as these different pieces based on different. Very cool, man. Very cool stuff. So how did you become interested in UFOs and the study of extraterrestrial phenomena?
For me, you know, growing up when I grew up, it was always the in search of and encounters and all that stuff. You know, you hear it 1,000 times. Everybody's got the same story once you've been in here long enough. You interview everybody, you've heard the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
My primary interest, however, was Bigfoot. We actually were the Bigfoot Researchers of the Year for 2022.
Cool.
And we've also done a bunch of stuff in that respect. But we've experienced other phenomena while searching for subject A, we're experiencing subject B quite often.
I love that.
But you know, I was also very interested in the X-Files.
Yeah.
I was interested in all of the, you know, the truth is out there stuff. I was heavily influenced by that as a kid. But then I joined the Air Force. I was a sheet metal fabrication guy for the Air Force. In layman's terms, I built aircraft. And I know what we have up there in the sky.
Yeah.
I know what's ours. I know what's not. I had the clearance to. I worked on stealth paint applications and stuff like that. So that's the kind of clearances that we had. When you're working in sheet metal, you have security clearance because all of that stuff's protected info.
Did you get into some of that Bob Lazar stuff?
Actually, we're friends with Bob Lazar, and he makes some of our paint that we use on our applications here. So some of the glow in the dark paints that you see here are actually produced by Bob at United Nuclear.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I've been
we use.
about
I believe it's his European paint is the primary one we use that does the glow in the dark.
That's another thing I love about this movement. How close knit. You know, it brings so many different people together. That's so cool, man. That's so cool. So we've been asking everybody, if aliens were to land here today, which fast food chain do you think they would be most interested in trying?
Let's see. Which fast food chain? See, I'm a classically trained chef, so I don't.
Oh, so you don't.
I'm not a huge connoisseur of the fast food.
Let's
see.
Let's change that though. Let's change it. Then.
I'm going to say Taco Bell though.
Taco Bell.
I mean, Taco Bell won the fast food wars in Demolition Man, so I'm gonna roll with Taco Bell.
Come on.
Your tone is quasi-facetious, but you do not realize that Taco Bell was the only restaurant to survive the franchise wars.
So?
So? Now all restaurants are Taco Bell.
No way.
Yeah. Well, but since you're a classically trained chef, what might you fix for an extraterrestrial?
Definitely not octopus.
Definitely not octopus.
Because I'm fairly certain those probably aren't from this planet in the first place, and I think science is starting to agree with this thing.
I'm with you, man. It's spooky stuff. It's spooky stuff.
March 2018. A scientific paper sparks a sensation in the press. In it, a team of 33 scientists, including Dr. Chandra Wickramasinghe, claim that octopuses possess extraterrestrial DNA.
So if you were to encounter this extraterrestrial at the party, what conversation starter might you use to break the ice?
So why so secret?
Okay.
Why so secret?
Yeah, and that goes in with another one of mine. Like, what do you think they are waiting for?
Well, humanity at this stage in the game is still a bunch of pink apes throwing rocks at each other. We've developed nuclear arms first.
Yeah.
Not nuclear power. Not a 0 point energy source.
Yeah.
We developed weapons first,
That's
right?
a good point.
That's our MO as humanity.
And they seem to be trying to shut that down sometimes, right?
Well,
Sometimes they're like, calm down, guys.
You know, I think part of that is also in relation to how we came about with these weapons and how we came about with this technology. Because we're dealing with something that we had in a very combustive state. We're dealing with nuclear power that is meant to destroy, that is released to devastate and bring mass destruction.
Yeah.
And we're containing that to make energy. But what if that's not really how nuclear power is supposed to be generated? Maybe we're coming about it from the wrong direction.
Wow.
So if we learn how to use it the right way, if we learn the stable nuclear power that's truly stable, that's not going to make you infertile, that's not going to kill you, give you various cancers. You know, if we learn how to make that stable, what kind of weapons would we develop then? If we could truly control, fully control nuclear power, what kind of devastation would we wreak across the galaxy at that point? Man. Maybe that's why they're trying to shut it down.
Yeah. Wow.
Just throwing it out there.
You're giving me a lot of food for thought. I'm like, a whole other question.
You know that Bob Lazar in one of the old interviews, he said that if you did take element 115 that it would make a big enough weapon that you could literally obliterate Europe.
Wow. Wow.
So that's just one piece.
Yeah, no wonder they would want to slow us down in that regard. Or what have you.
Ron,
good to meet you. So how did you become interested in UFOs and the study of extraterrestrial phenomena?
It's about 1975, 1976. Me and my family were driving. And I was young, very, very little. I mean, I was little, sitting on my mom's lap in front of a station wagon. You could do that back then.
Right.
And so we... now, the funny thing about this, I'll do a backstory for you. I don't remember this until later, okay? I remember parts of this. So, this is what happens, though. We're out there. There's a bright light in the sky. My dad pulls off the road, looks at this thing. Someone back there in the back seat says something like, "Oh, it's a helicopter," or something. Dad's like, "No, it's not a helicopter." He's like, "Well, what is it?" He's like, "Oh, it's UFO, I guess." He's laughing, He don't use those words, by the way, back in there. So, next thing I remember, we're on the road heading back home. It's a little later. We get back home, living with my grandparents at the time, and they're like, "Where you been? Where you been? Where you been?" And I'm like, "Well,
Wow.
And my grandmother, she says, "Oh, well, you describe what we saw. It was a ball of orange light in the sky." "Oh, that's God's getting ready to destroy the world." And Mom's like, "Okay, let's go." She takes me back to the bedroom, and I don't remember any of that for years, except for in a weird little dream. We're going to church. We see a weird light in the sky. So one day, later on, I got really interested in UFOs after this, really interested. And then I got really interested in psychic phenomena, so forth and so on. It led up into lucid dreams, out-of-body experiences.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So I eventually had to go into researching a little bit about alien abduction phenomena, stuff like that. And I'm like, these people are nuts. They're misrepresenting out-of-body experiences. They're seeing these out-of-body experiences and they think that they're having these contact. And I'm reading this book, and there's this checklist in the Bible. And one of the last things, I'm like checking yes to all these, by the way. And at the end, there's this one that says a misplaced memory, something that doesn't quite fit. And I'm like, just that one incident. I keep having this dream about pulling off the road. Now I know where this is at, physically in the world, because I drive there. I'm like, we didn't pull off the road. This never happened. There's not enough space for this to happen.
Yeah.
So I asked my mom about it. She's like, "Oh, you remember when we were out in blah, 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 and Dad pulled off the road?" And I'm like, that's why. It didn't happen there. It happened somewhere completely different.
Yeah.
After that, everything flooded back, and I just became like, okay, I got it. I get it.
Yeah, and that led you down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, down the rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole.
So, let's see. So, we've been asking everybody if extraterrestrials were to land here today, which fast food chain do you think they would be most interested in trying?
I like Taco Bell.
Taco Bell, that was his answer too. Makes everybody happy.
I would like to invite you to join me to dinner tonight. The both of you. Please, I insist. I would like you to accompany me to Taco Bell.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
What is the most compelling evidence or case that you've come across in your research and investigations?
There's too many.
Right.
Honest to goodness, yeah. I can't name one, but there was one for me that validated my stuff.
Right.
Back in the day when I was trying to figure this stuff out, I decided to conduct a little experiment. We talked about that this morning in the presentation. And in my experiment, I decided to test the phenomena because I'd heard these stories that, this thing's so intelligent, it literally can read your mind. I'm like, okay, let's test that. So, from a certain period of time, this is in July 1989, but between, I think it was like the 8th and 15th, I conducted an experiment where I did out-of-body experiments, remote viewing, et cetera, et cetera. And I also did one other thing. I went out in this perfectly manicured, perfect lawn that my uncle used to make at the time, and I mowed a gigantic circle. Okay. I get a phone call on the 20th from my uncle, freaking out. He's about a half a mile up the road, and he finds this weird thing in his field. I'm like, okay, he knew I was into this stuff, so I go over and look at it. He's already mowed through it, but I can still see it. These are concentric circles. There's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 50 feet. Each one of the rings is about 4 inches or so. This happened on the 16th. He found it the next morning. It happened one day after my experiment. At that point, I said, okay, I'm done.
So there might have been a little back and forth, a little forum here.
I don't know. I left at that point. Pretty much. I was like, okay, that's good. That's good.
Wow. So you and your extraterrestrial friend, you're eating some Taco Bell. What conversation starter would you use to break the ice?
Oh, that's a tough one.
That is tough.
Yeah, I would imagine we would just be talking about, nuclear plasmoid reactors, alien technology, because, the Wild and Weird Radio is powered off of a nuclear plasmoid reactor, which is alien technology. This is reverse engineered alien technology.
Get in on that.
So, that's what the radio works off of. We tune into the cosmos of the Wild and Weird that way. Man. So I think that's what I would show my alien friend and say,
Yeah. This eclectic mix was what brought us over here in the first place. And so that
it works with aliens too. They don't like that word, by the way. It's extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional. Bob is the preferred term.
Bob. Okay,
yes,
okay.
Bob.
I'm partial to the interdimensional theories myself.
Well, that's where it kind of goes. On a serious note, that is where the data is leading at this point. Yes. There is a possibility of extraterrestrial, but whatever's here. It may have been extraterrestrial at one time, for all we know. And there's a lot of legends that say, yes, this was something that happened thousands and thousands of years ago. This could be something that was originally extraterrestrial, but now it exists in such a, like Joe was talking about, the technology. Maybe they learned how to use the technology the right way. If we can power that kind of stuff, man, maybe we can just hop dimension to dimension.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be.
Exactly.
In the grand scheme of things, with the extraterrestrial versus extra-dimensional debate, really, what difference does it make? They're not from here.
Yeah, they're not from Earth.
That's the big thing. They're not from here.
Yeah.
They're either not from here or we're not from here. It's one of the two.
One of the two, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so, let's see. Okay, so in our audio show, we did a comedy show called Appalachian Abduction. And the ET offers the Snide cousins a deal to be their lab rats and live in paradise part-time, their memories being erased when put back on Earth. If aliens offered you a free trip to their home planet, but you had to leave Earth forever, would you take the opportunity?
To leave Earth forever?
Yeah.
Man, it would be tempting, wouldn't it?
It would.
The only thing would hold me back here would be my wife. That'd be
You gotta be. Can you bring it?
Kids and
yeah, we're gone.
It'd be a good exhibit. That'd be a good exhibit.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm cool. I mean, they're gonna. Okay, so they're gonna let us stay in this menagerie, right, from Star Trek.
Chris, do you want to go there? Mr. Spock. Would you care to take Captain Pike to the transporter room? See him off.
Thank you, sir. For both of us.
Captain Kirk? Captain Pike has an illusion, and you have reality. May you find your way as pleasant.
Right? That's what we're talking about. I mean, let's be real. That is a perfect Yeah.
I'll stare at you and lick the window.
Yeah. Well, that's why, Pike went back. Man, do I want to be a head on a box or do I want to live in this holographic matrix? Yeah, I'll take the matrix. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, who's the guy who dimed him out to Agent Smith in Matrix? He's like enjoys the.
Right now, I like this thing.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
It's been awesome. This has been awesome.
Check us out. We're Wild and Weird Radio. That's our public outreach kind of thing that we do. We're on YouTube. We're on everywhere podcasts are found.
Cool.
We've got I think we did the math on it. You could listen to our podcast for 56 days straight without taking a break. So it would probably be overload.
Bell, man, up there with Art Bell.
It would be total overload.
The year 2032. The city, Los Angeles. The movie, Demolition Man. The restaurant.
Now, all restaurants are Taco Bell.
Exactamundo. The demo deal. Buy a burrito supreme, nachos, and a large drink for one low price. And get an official Demolition Man movie poster absolutely free.
I'm impressed.
The supply's limited. The conclusion, get to Taco Bell today.
We're here with the Boardroom Creative Collective and their game Unyielding Universe. What's your name?
Travis.
Travis. What's that? Samuel. Excellent. Tell me a little bit about this. Is this a game here?
Yeah, so it's a tabletop game, and basically the objective is to create a long and beautiful lifeline in spite of an often cruel and vengeful universe.
I like that. Interesting. All right. So where can folks find this at?
So the BoardroomCreativeCollective.com.
BoardroomCreativeCollective.com. Excellent. So how do you play?
So you start with 5 random codes. The objective is to get to 10 in chronological order. So on your turn, you'll draw from either the draw pile or the discard pile, and then you will either you can replace a code or you can lengthen your lifeline. So in this case, I'd replace 83 with 51.
I see.
And then the universe can end your life early, so you lose that code if you die at 77.
Okay. It would take me a few rounds to get it. I'm one of those. I get stuck on games, but I love them. And I like how I see here, we got a UFO, so this definitely fits the theme of what's going on here. You guys are into UFOs and stuff like that? Awesome. I mean, obviously, why else would you be at UFOFest if you weren't into UFOs? So how did you become interested in UFOs and the study of extraterrestrial phenomena?
You want to tell them or you want me to do it? All right. Well, growing up, we live in the Appalachian Mountains, so all the shooting stars and stuff, like the stars just moved around. Also the History Channel, all those unexplained mysteries.
Yeah.
And then Independence Day, the movie, was a really good.
Independence Day. That did it for a lot of people. Classic. We've been asking people, if aliens were to land here today, which fast food chain do you think they would be most interested in trying?
I think Long John Silver's.
I like that answer a lot. I love LJS.
Yeah, the ocean's kind of scary, the space is kind of scary, so they go together.
I like that logic too. So, in your opinion, what are the potential implications or consequences of discovering intelligent extraterrestrial life? Obviously, you've thought about it a little bit.
Want to answer that one?
There's technological improvements.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I feel you. I mean, hey, that might have been where we got the MP3 from. Maybe. I'm totally with it. What do you think would happen if it turned out aliens, have been watching us all along, but we were just part of some sort of sick reality TV show?
Honestly, I'd be okay with that.
You'd be okay with
I'd
that?
sign autographs, try to sell them my game.
So you came to some Martians. I like that. Entrepreneurial. I like that a lot. All right. Well, I won't take up any more of your time here at the table. Best of luck. I like this. I'm going to check out the website, folks. Check out the Boardroom Creative Collective. Again, yeah, I'm Corey, the curator with Snide Studios, and we're here with...
I'm Ashley Hilt, Fortean investigator. Fortean's just a fancy term for everything weird. So cryptozoology, ufology, paranormal.
The fringe.
The fringe,
I like
yes.
that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Yeah, we've been asking everyone here some questions, just kind of surveying and stuff.
Sure.
We're into aliens, we're into conspiracies, we're into like all the fringe stuff as well.
Are you an alien?
I feel like a lot of the time. I might be a hybrid, might have a little bit of that DNA in me.
I believe it.
Yeah. What's this guy's name here?
Actually, it doesn't have a name, so it remains mysterious. But we personally caught it. It was sneaking around my backyard, so we had to take it out and stuff it, and now we show it to everybody. So.
I love that. Reminds me of Mars Attacks. They have the brains.
Yeah.
So, how did you become interested in UFOs and the fringe?
Oh gosh, actually, I was a big skeptic. I wasn't into UFOs for a long time. I was really big into cryptozoology. As a kid, that's what I wanted to be when I grew up, was a cryptozoologist. But then I attended the Mothman Festival in 2019, and I had a magical weekend, I guess, is to say the least.
Oh,
and so then I decided I was going to make a documentary about it. And I've been, Mothman's definitely more ufology. And kind of the more you dig into that lore, you find, well, this isn't an animal at all. It doesn't live here. There's no Mothman nest,
Yeah.
And so now that's just kind of what I've been known for. So that's where I'm at.
What is the most compelling evidence that you've come across in your research on Mothman?
Oh, man. Well, I saw it, so there's that. I did. I actually, before I went to the Mothman Festival, I saw it in 2016, and I didn't know that's what I had seen at the time. It was very interesting. So there's not evidence that quite matches your own experience, so pretty wild.
Yeah. So what was it? I mean, now that
you want to hear the
I got to
story?
go off script now. Like, what did the Mothman look like to you?
So I was at a friend's house. I was sleeping on their couch that night. We did some adult activities beforehand. Nothing crazy. We made some pot brownies. That's what we did.
Okay.
So we're going to bed. I'm sleeping on her couch, and I just kind of started freaking out. And I just thought, man, I'm really high. That's what this is. But it just kind of continued and persisted and got worse, and I kind of looked in like the corner of the room, and this thing started forming just like in the top corner, and then it had like arms, or what I thought were arms, like start reaching out like over top of me, and then they started coming down because they were wings. And at that point, I left. I got up and left the room because I wasn't staying to figure out what the hell it was. I woke up my friend. I didn't tell her what happened. I'm very scientifically driven. I'm a proud college dropout, but I went to school for astrophysics, and I might finish it one day. We'll see. But I'm a science person. That's what I follow. I don't follow the woo. So I didn't talk about it. I was just like, hey, man, I'm really high. That's all that was. Until 2021, where somebody approached me with their Mothman encounter and just mentioned, hey, I was in Atlanta, Georgia with my boyfriend. We took some gummies, but that's it. And we regularly take them, and we saw this thing, and it just kind of hit me. I was like, holy shit, I saw that. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can cuss.
Oh, please. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, holy shit, I saw that too. You know, and then it just kind of clicked. The more people that I've interviewed,
You're okay.
the more witnesses that I've looked into, this is a very personal experience. And a lot of people don't know that part of the Mothman lore, is that once you see this thing, it really kind of changes your life. And even though it sounds like I'm pitching a cult right now, I noticed that trend ever since I saw it. Things kind of took a weird turn in life.
Who is this?
My name is Agent Cole. Thank you.
What's my name?
Chopstick.
You're reading my mind, are you? You're reading my mind.
I have no need to, do I?
I am loving this because Mothman was an early, I saw the movie and then I found out about the book and, and all that stuff. To this day, when I think of Chapstick, I still think of Mothman because of that scene. That scene was like, oh, what am I holding now? It's Chapstick.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But yeah, man. Did you see like the red eyes?
I did. Yeah, I did see the red eyes, and I just thought it was. People talk about shadow people. People talk about apparitions, and even though I still, even now, I gave a lecture one time at a paranormal convention and stood up and told everybody that I don't believe ghosts are dead people, and they chased me out with pitchforks. It was nuts. But no, I genuinely think that all the stuff is kind of interconnected, and I think that more people have seen this thing than they realize. They just call it something different. One of the big sightings I take in, the big experiences are angel encounters, because they're describing the same thing, a winged humanoid that completely changed their entire life. And when you track all that information, you've got gargoyles, you've got the Garuda, you've got the flying head from Algonquin lore. This thing's been around forever.
Getting into some deep cuts.
Oh, yeah.
Into some deep cuts. But back onto extraterrestrial life or interdimensional life or whatever it might be. In your opinion, what are the potential implications or consequences of having this intelligent extraterrestrial life? Like disclosure, like if we were day to day, it was widely acknowledged that they exist. What would be the consequence of that?
Well, of course, religiously, a lot of people would have a hard time grasping that concept. Even just in America, I don't know if anybody here has ever been outside of the country, but even like our culture here is very strange. We are trained to believe that America is the best of the best or the greatest of the greatest. We just have that mindset. And every country kind of has that camaraderie. It's like the only thing you got. Hey, we're better than everybody. So if we found out that, now we already struggle with, hey, there's other people on other continents. If we found out that there's now other people and other planets, it just kind of makes it worse. But I think, again, religiously is probably the biggest hurdle that we would have to go over, because a lot of people say they don't talk about aliens in the Bible. They don't talk about aliens in the Quran. They don't talk about, so... Right, and maybe they do. Maybe the interpretation's
look at Ezekiel's chariot, man. And all that.
Absolutely.
Like if you put that thing together, you've got like a saucer for some reason.
For some reason, right? Yeah. And I agree, and I think that I tell people that all the time. I don't care what your religious background is. To me, this is all the same thing. If you call it demons, if you call it aliens, if you call it, I don't care. It's all the same thing.
You're speaking my language.
But yeah, I think people would have a hard time. People like to hang on to their egos. They like to be right, and none of us are. We don't know shit, so.
Exactly. Yeah. Going back to our buddy over there, we're just a bunch of pink apes.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of hairless apes trying to figure out this world. So say the extraterrestrials landed here today. What would be your conversation starter, your icebreaker, if you got to speak to one of these beings?
I don't know. The silly side of me wants to ask if I could get them pregnant.
Oh, I love that answer.
I talk about it a lot. Well, a lot of species, the men carry the babies. I'm just, I can't get anybody pregnant now, so it's my only chance.
That's a fun answer. That's a really fun answer.
But I think that I would probably start asking, actually, if they're familiar with other species out there besides just us.
There you go.
Because there's so many different types of aliens, right? We've got a whole myriad. Like, hey, have you ever met Indrid Cold? Have you ever met the Mothman? Do you know what the hell I'm talking about?
Yeah,
or be the first, you know? I would be curious.
One of the winged people, or is that like a different creature? Yeah, so many questions. Oh, well, what do you think of the chupacabra?
Ooh, that's a fun one, but I'll fight somebody over it. So, the chupacabra started off as an animal that came off of a spaceship. People believe came from a spaceship. It was definitely an alien species. Somehow in America it's morphed into a dog with mange or a coyote with mange, and that's strange.
Yeah.
But tales of the chupacabra still go around. So in 2021, there was this big deal. This little village, I can't remember exactly where it was. That sucks. But there was big news. A spaceship had landed, and they claimed that a chupacabra came out and kind of terrorized the village for a little while. So that's still happening. It's just happening in little corners of the world that we're not paying any attention to. So I think there is something to it. To me, it probably seems like some type of worker bee. I don't think it's really intelligent. We can't hold conversation with it. That's why it sucks off goats.
Well, keeping it light. If the extraterrestrials were to land here today, which fast food chain do you think they would be most interested in trying?
That's a really interesting question. So I'm kind of one of the lead people in the Indrid Cold case. I don't know if you guys know about that, but
oh yeah.
Cliff Note story. A guy from West Virginia had a lifelong relationship with an alien, and so I got really close with the daughter. She actually just passed within the last month. But one of the questions I asked about Indrid was, where does he like to eat? Does he get fast food? She says he does, but he just doesn't really have a preference. It just depends on the day, like anybody else. So.
Wow.
That's a real question that came up for a real alien.
The extraterrestrials are indecisive about their food,
just like we are.
Us. I love that. I love that.
Extraterrestrials say it's up to you.
Yeah, right. You choose.
So if Snide Studios were to produce a UFO themed show, like an X-Files spoof, what would be a twist you'd like to see in a show like that? Like taking your experience with cryptozoology, perhaps.
Sure.
What is something you'd like to see covered in like a comedy about Fringe?
I would like to see humans have finally perfected some type of decent space travel, and we crash landed on another planet, and they don't know what the hell we are, and then maybe they capture the humans, and then we kind of go behind the scenes of how that looks like from the aliens' perspective.
Wow. I might have to hit you up to workshop that.
Sure.
That actually sounds like a really cool, like a fish out of water kind of thing. I love that. So I really like your dress. I like your style.
Thank you.
In your opinion, what is the most? What would be a fashionable attire for an extraterrestrial visitor to wear here?
So to blend
should they
in,
wear?
or just in general?
You're thinking of the function of it. I love that.
Yeah, right. Are they just? Are they trying? They don't want to be caught.
They're trying to drip. Let's say they're trying to drip.
They want to be obvious. I think the classic Men in Black look. That's
okay.
That's
there
classy.
You go.
You know what I mean? And nowadays we don't think that the Men in Black look like that anymore. They probably have upgraded to blend in more. So then they would definitely stand out. Right. People wouldn't even recognize if it was a real Men in Black dressed as a Men in Black. Everybody'd be like, yeah, right.
I love that. All right. Well, I won't take up any more of your time. This has been awesome. Tell people where they can find you and your stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm Ashley Hilt. I'm a co-host of On Wednesdays We Talk Weird. It's a podcast where we cover everything we talked about today and then some. We think we're funny, so check us out every Wednesday. Anywhere you listen to podcasts.
So yeah, as I was saying, I'm with Snide Studios, The Snide Show. I'm Corey, the curator. We're all into the Fringe over at Snide Studios, so I just thought that UFOFest would be a great place, and wow, did I meet a couple of very interesting people here. Are you people, or?
Well, he's not exactly considered a person, but it's okay. He's not from around here, so we can say that.
I see. Wow, so this answers a lot of my hypothetical questions of what if extraterrestrials, but now that they're here, what have you found is the favorite fast food chain of extraterrestrials?
Well, I mean, I kind of like Pizza Planet, but I don't know, what's your favorite? He's very indecisive.
Well, much like people, it's very relatable. It's very, very relatable. Let's see here, because again, so much of this is about people being skeptical. But we got one right here. It's crazy. So do extraterrestrials have a sense of humor? What kind of jokes do they find funny?
Well, I mean, I was kind of skeptical before I caught him, but truth be told, he actually likes a lot of fart jokes. He's a real sucker for it.
Once again, very relatable, very relatable, very relatable. If you had a chance to go on a cosmic road trip and visit other planets, which one or star system might you choose to visit?
I would honestly probably go to the Andromeda Galaxy. It's basically our neighbor. I'm actually surprised that's not where he's from, but...
Yeah. Well, you thought you'd take a trip to Earth, and look where it landed you. Let's hope they're nicer in Andromeda. What would be your reaction if you found out your favorite celebrity is actually an extraterrestrial, and what celebrity do you think could be an extraterrestrial if you had to guess?
What do you think? Well, he thinks Miley Cyrus. I'm on the fence. I think it might be Drake.
Drake.
There's a certain look behind him, but if I found... Now you're changing your answer to Beyonce.
Beyonce. I mean, very, very magnetic people. I could see that. Yeah. So do you think that the extraterrestrials, or have you come across evidence that the extraterrestrials are monitoring us through our social media? And what do they think?
So, unfortunately, I'm not able to confirm nor deny the allegations being pressed against me, and I would like to have a lawyer present.
Uh-oh. This interview's getting hot. I'll let you guys go. This was awesome. You're my favorite costumes, and I'm so glad that you won. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.